Thanks, everybody, for joining our Technology and Strategic Planning Committee meeting for March, our March 24th meeting. I think just as a reminder, we mostly talked about the comprehensive plan at our last meeting with Tammy. And I know that she did a presentation at the board meeting. I obviously I wasn't able to attend that board meeting, and I know Rick, thank you. You did the update for our committee. So I think, we'll definitely continue to pursue that comprehensive plan idea. And I think that's going to be a topic for us, especially on the budget side. If we'll have to ask Tammy. I know she met with, I think, it's not Southern Tier 8, was it? About the potential funding source for that comprehensive plan, but I think we'll have to follow up with her and
so we can do that in kind for our own labor.
Right, we
Yes.
may not even have to put any funds in, right?
Probably
So
won't.
we'll burn that with her.
I had Tammy down at the town of Lawrence board meeting, and she did the whole thing,
And that was same.
yes.
Oh, great.
Sign up with her.
And is town of Lawrence gonna, you think, pursue it?
Yes.
Oh, great. Well, that's great to hear. So they'll be probably right in line, in step with us as we pursue that funding, right? So that's great. But I think, I don't know if that moves maybe to IGA. I don't even know. I'm not really this idea of a comp plan.
I'm not certain either. I can check with Steve though when he's back.
Because the board obviously didn't make a resolution at that meeting because Tammy would have just been presented. So maybe we should, or maybe Tammy may have some ideas about with IGA coming up, I think next week.
Yeah, IGA seems to make sense, but I can check with Tammy and then follow up further if necessary.
Or not next week, board meetings next week, then we would have IGA on the 7th of April.
Correct.
So
Yes.
maybe I think it would be good, for Tammy maybe to bring that resolution to the committee on the 7th. Why wait, right?
Right.
And then that we can bring it back through admin and get the board to go. I assume that we'd want the full board to.
Yeah, I think we
approve
would
that.
need to go to admin and then to the full board.
So just for Michelle, you were at the board meeting, right?
Yeah.
Last month. If for both of you, did you have any? Do you feel like the board was supportive of the comprehensive plan?
No, I think so, but
Okay.
I'm not sure,
Sometimes it's kind of, it was interesting because there was, 4 people out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think myself, Adrian, Jill, and I forget who the fourth was.
Yeah, there was, cause I did Adrian's.
Oh, for human services?
Yeah.
You're
I'm gonna be
doing double duty.
Here, just do this.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
So sorry.
So, well, I think maybe the best way for to get that kind of feedback is for us just to bring it back through, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if we're supportive as a committee, then we'll bring it up at IGA and have Tammy present a resolution, and then it can go to admin. Admin can, that's, whatever, six on admin of the reps?
5, I think.
Okay.
Or wait, no, sorry.
No, there
are 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so that's, a good, getting close to majority if we,
Admin has 6.
yes, all right, so we'll have IGA if Tammy feels comfortable, presenting that resolution, then we'll just start that process and see where it goes.
Tammy also had the lady who was at the Mohawk.
Oh, Mohawk.
Yes, she was at our
And
meeting also, very
CC or
informative
whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was she talking about?
about this whole strategic, or they're not strategic, the
The comprehensive plan.
conference.
Oh, are they the funding source? I had it wrong.
It could be MVED.
Yeah.
wasn't
Yes, it is
entirely sure.
MVED.
Yeah, not Southern Tier 8. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely, now that I think back, that's what Tammy did say. So, well, that's good. I mean, anything to move us along, us and town of Lawrence. So,
It was a little tough at the town of Lawrence.
Oh, really?
I prepared it because the last time they wanted to do a comprehensive plan, they got all these people on board, and all they did was propose a zoning law,
Yeah,
100 and some pages of zoning laws. And the people, there were 200 people at the last board meeting when it got voted down.
oh, wow, yeah. And that doesn't sound like a comp plan, that
No, it
sounds
was
like
definitely not.
a different kind of,
Anti-fracking, anti-everything.
yeah. Yeah, no, we were talking about this before about the comp plan.
Yeah.
It's really more of a guide, right? I mean,
It's a roadmap for your future. I think it's,
so, yeah, I think it would be, helpful for us, for sure, for the county to pursue that. So I guess we'll start that process and let the board decide, is the majority in support or not. And then I'm just looking at my notes. We also had talked about the quarterly updates. Have those, do we know, are they done or no? For 2025?
Do you guys know about what the completion percentage is for 2025?
The, I know some departments haven't done anything, but most of them,
Okay. Can we just get kind of just a list sent to the committee of what departments we feel have completed for 2025 and what ones have not?
Yeah.
And that I think will help us be a reference, and that way we'll be able to say, just, is there, I'm guessing the ones that haven't completed it are ones that never engaged from the beginning. That's what I'd like to see.
Probably many of them are.
Yeah.
And it was our intention to lock the 2025 plan at the end of March, figuring 3 months was long enough for them
Yeah.
to complete 2025. So as long as that seems acceptable to the committee, we would lock it then. We could wait
Yeah.
if we want to give them more time, but it seems like 3 months is.
I think at this point, we're, we want to focus more on first quarter updates, make that transition at some point. So I think, yeah, it makes sense to close out 2025.
Okay, great. And there are a number of departments that have been in contact with us that are making updates to their plan for 2026. So
Okay.
at least some of the departments are getting a good jump on it.
Okay. Did we give any official, did we say March 31st? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So do you mind just putting out another note? Sure. To the department heads, just saying that, we're, just as a reminder, any updates, need to be completed by March 31st, and we're locking, or whatever your terminology is.
Mm-hmm.
Think, anyway, you don't need to reinforce that we do have that strategic planning document that Steve is using for the evaluations, but I think at some point, I'm assuming the folks that aren't engaging at all are electeds anyway. So, but if we could see the list, then we'll be able to confirm that. We also talked about, looking at the plan in Clear Plan itself, and I don't know if, Michelle, have you been able to log into your account and explore it all? No, okay. Rick, we had some issues with having to
Yes.
get user access for us to the 2026
I
plan.
haven't got it.
Yeah, I've tried to log in. Do you think, can we try, I can actually log in using my computer. Maybe it's better if I go from my account anyway.
Yeah, and you all, and the full board for that matter, should have full access at this point in time. If you do have any issues logging in or questions once you're logged in, let me know. I can reset the password or walk you through.
My biggest problem is the technology at my age.
I think that's the same for some of the other board members as
Yeah.
well, so.
I thought, I didn't think about it this morning, but earlier I thought about bringing my computer along and catching you after the meeting for a few minutes and.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome anytime that you're here. If you want to bring your computer in, or we can do it on my computer, I'm happy to walk you through it, so.
Not today, though. I got my new eyeglasses.
Not a problem.
I think the only thing, maybe we'll just hold off on connecting in Clear Plan. I think it would be good for us if we could try to just do just a brief, kind of touch base on it at the board meeting next week, maybe during the committee reports, just as a reminder, everyone, just that they should log in and maybe we use one of our accounts, maybe I log in just so, because I think you're like an admin. So your interface looks different than ours.
It does, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I think it would be better for us, to see what, at least use one of our accounts. So they, we were seeing the same thing.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And going over to get at the board meeting seems sensible as well. And again, you can mention that if they have any questions or problems, reach out to me and I can help anybody through.
No, that sounds good. I think bringing up at the board meeting, that way, it's front and center and we're reminding everybody, just by actually bringing it, visually up. And then, actually, I was just gonna, as we're talking here, I'm just gonna log in real quick, because I know I saw the 2026 plan. Yeah, so when we log in, we'll see them. I'm looking at my account right now, 2026 and 2025. So, I mean, it depending on your dashboard, it shows the last thing you viewed.
Yes.
But, once you view both of those, otherwise, I think you'll find it under strategic planning. So if you go to the strategic planning tab on the left, you're gonna see the 2026 plan first, I think. And then the 2025 plan is below that. So, and then once you do click on them, there's what's called your dashboard, and then it'll just show you the last thing you viewed. So, but I think, the more we all reinforce to people, log in, look at this, and I think it would be good if we had that list, and just kind of highlighted that of who has technically completed their planning and who we're missing, just to reinforce that with the board.
Yeah, we can get that to you beforehand. And I think what you said about the recently viewed in the 2026 plan would be helpful to reiterate as well, because even with the department heads, they're used to going from the recently viewed. So that first time getting into the 2026 plan is a little bit different. And then it'll be, like you said, in the recently viewed, and they'll just carry on from there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just making some notes. And then 2025. So the other thing I want to come back to the evaluation, that process we're starting. So but I'm just looking at my notes. The other thing that we talked about was the whole current service level. And so Steve did that. And so Steve did a presentation that hasn't been shared with everybody, right, Alan?
I thought that he did send it out to everybody.
Okay. Did everyone?
I
don't think, do you all remember, did you get this using the budget process to maintain fiscal stability? It's exciting
I don't remember.
document.
You have to,
Can you make sure, do you have access to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you make sure that, at least send it to TSP? Honestly, I think you should send it to the full board.
Yeah, I'll double check Steve's emails and see if I can confirm whether it went out to the board or not.
Yeah,
If I have it,
yeah.
I will send it out to
I don't-
the full board again.
I have one for the department head.
I don't think
So
it,
we just did the department heads and didn't do the full board. Okay.
I don't think so. Yeah, I was gonna look, but if you're already confirming that, then, that.
Maybe you received it and I wasn't last this.
No, I would have got it because I'm on admin. So, that's how I got the document. Or actually, that's a good question. I don't even know if he sent it to admin before the meeting because he gave out hard copies.
Yeah, he sent it to,
He did.
to Meg and I have that one.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I think he,
no,
right. I
send
think
it
he said
to
it,
as well.
sent it to, right, Meg and Ed beforehand and maybe didn't.
I don't think it went to
Okay.
admin. So that alone it'd be good, because those of us who are on admin, we got a hard copy that day, but I think, this needs to go out to the full board. So I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, so, you can take a look at it, Rick, but the main thing that, continues to come up, which we've talked about before, where does he reference current service level? It's definitely the, we have this mark.
Yeah, I thought it was page in the blue and the green.
Yeah, I think it was
There, this one, it
Yeah.
doesn't say service level, it says, core programs or the must pays mandated programs, non-mandated, grant funded programs, one-time expenses,
I'm
all.
going to open it.
And then it says fire plan total 2027 annual operating budget, departmental reductions, departmental increases, departmental multi-year strategy to structural balance. I thought he definitely had reference to current service level in here.
I would have thought that it was.
Maybe I'm just missing it at the moment. Just doing a quick.
Go to the arrow, the chart and the arrow. It says set priority outcomes and current service level.
Oh, the one with the
What
four
color
colors
is it?
that are.
Oh, okay, I'm not far, this one right here. Okay, yes, all right, here we go. Set priority outcomes and current service levels. So we've talked about this issue of what we in the strategic in clear plan, it's called
KPIs.
yeah, KPIs. So KPIs in clear plan, but in the budget process, we talked about the current service level. And they're not the same. And so we talked about, so now here we are, obviously moving forward with the new budget process. We're talking about defining the current service levels. But we need to figure out how to connect the dots to the strategic plan.
Yeah,
Have we,
we've had some internal discussion about that. I don't know that Steve has definitively made a decision, but what we were discussing is, so when they do the current service levels, they're doing that for an essential activity.
Right.
So the essential activity is provide meals to senior citizens. Tammy's current service level would be provide X number of meals in a year. And we got thinking, instead of keeping those two things as separate, take that current service level and make it a part of the essential activity, so that the essential activity is no longer vague with the current service level being separate, but maybe that the essential activities themselves can contain those quantitative features, so that we have the current service levels directly in the strategic plan.
okay,
But also when they're doing their quarterly report, it may be a little bit easier because they can then reference those current service levels right through the essential activity part. So
okay,
we may also do something with the KPIs, and I think this is still a little bit of a work in progress, but we're batting that around because it may simplify the process, having them rolled up.
and so are you talking about, can you add like an actual thing that says current service level or no?
Yeah, so basically it would be where they have their essential activity, instead of having it be a non-quantitative description, they would take that quantitative element and roll it into the narrative description of the
Got it.
essential activity.
Okay, but it's not like there's gonna be a, like KPI is a prompt, it's like a section. It's not gonna be, we're asking them to just talk about it under essential activity.
Correct. And then when they do their quarterly reports would show their progress on that essential activity, which now would include the current service level. So,
Okay,
they could specifically say in the first quarter provided 100 meals or paved X miles of highway, and you can see that compared to what their overall goal is for the year, right, within the essential activity description.
okay,
And again, a little bit of a work in progress. It's not finalized yet. We may still utilize the KPIs as well, but I don't think we've quite gotten there. while Steve is out, it's going to be the focus of the budget analyst over the course of the next month to meet with each department and help them get their current service levels in order so that we have good data with which to work going forward, both for the strategic plan and for the budget process.
Okay. When you're working on those current service levels, where do you see, like, how do you see that process playing out if, department heads are you hoping that filters back to the home committee or as they're defining it, are we thinking that there's going to be another, like a conversation that goes back to the home committee, or because budget committee, are they going to start meeting soon and start talking about current service levels, or you know what I mean? Because what if department heads are pushing back, or
And that is part of our hope, is by having the budget analysts work directly with the department.
right,
It's not just offloading it solely onto
right,
them.
and yeah, no, yep, I get it.
Yeah, and then,
But we would hope that the department heads are bringing those ideas back to some body of the board, right? So, and try to bring the board along with the department heads as they're defining these current service levels.
yes, and once we have those current service levels, again, waiting on Steve to make a final decision, but they will end up in the strategic plan, either as part of the essential activity or separately as the KPI, and then can be reported at quarterly at the parent committee meeting. So the parent committees will stay informed that way. They will also tie into the budget process. So as we begin to have more discussions about the budget, we will tie all of those pieces together.
Okay. So are we, I know you, Michelle, you left for this very thrilling discussion about current service levels and KPIs, but do you remember that discussion? KPI is a terminology that we'll see in Clear Plan with our strategic plan. Current service level, which this presentation was given to admin, you're gonna get, it actually, we were just discussing, it actually wasn't emailed to admin even. We got a hard copy of it in our committee meeting, but that will be distributed to the full board. And in this presentation, basically the administrator department is talking about the continued budget challenges that we will face, for 2027 and foreseeable future. And that we're basically approving expenses over our revenues on a continuing basis. We've been doing it for years, actually, is what the presentation outlines, and that but now it's finally caught up to us. And Steve said all this last year, but he's just reiterating it this year, and that the gap is about 10-11 million that we're approving expenses over revenues. And so that's why we had to cut back the budget by 11 million last year, or for this year. So he's just talking about the need to better define deliverables, essentially what we're calling them current service levels. It's really on the budgetary side of things. And so what Alan's just saying is that they're going to be helping departments better define this, because it's not defined at all. Like what level of service delivery should our departments be doing?
Right.
And how do you quantify that by dollars?
Yes, in the second part, the quantifying by dollars, Steve is working with Vineski. He's someone that we partner with that helps us with some of our budget analysis. And we are going to be working with him to allocate the various budgeted amounts based on a percentage to the different priority outcomes. So for this coming budget season, outcome 1 may utilize 20% of the department's budget. Outcome 2 may utilize, 50% of their budget. And that will give us a better understanding of what those dollars are buying as far as services that are getting provided. And this will kind of get us started down that path. And then hopefully over time, we'll be able to continue to refine that so that, we keep improving that quantitative aspect of it.
And so the slides, once you get them, you can take a look, and I'm sure if you have questions, Steve's obviously going to be out, but Alan can definitely, and they can definitely guide us through it, but probably better if Steve's out because he takes a long time explaining his slides to us, but it's not happy stuff that's outlined here. And he also talks about the capital investment side of it, and that for us to bond, which again, he's told us this last year as well. So it's just reinforcement that we really need a fund balance. He has a number in here, 27.9 million. And to be able to really bond at the level that would allow us to do the number of capital projects that we're talking about. And they have a number in here, $123 million, so I mean, fairly significant. That's the public safety facility at about 90 million, fire training center at 5.6, and then highway facility at 24 million, southern transfer station 4.5 million. And I think that doesn't even count the other stuff, right, that we have through
Right, there are still a number of other.
a bunch of highway buildings, a bunch of roads, equipment.
Yes, just repairs in the existing buildings, we're all working in old buildings.
Much bigger
It's
number.
gonna need to be, yes.
So and then Steve actually has, or they have a slide here, our fund balance trend, which shows our fund balance back to 2019 and then up to 2025, and and kind of the recommended fiduciary reserve at the bottom, and so for 2025 it should have been 26.5 million, but we actually had 9.8 million. Is that the right number I should be looking at, unassigned?
The unassigned,
Yeah.
yes, so there's more.
Not
in the fund
appropriated.
balance, but there's appropriated,
Right.
reserved, et cetera, so
Right,
that's
which
kind of what's available.
They kind of like get allocated to their different
Yes,
amount
exactly.
used, return to fund balance. And we don't, is that for 2025, 5.2 million, is that what we think is gonna return to fund balance? Is that an estimate that he has here?
Yes, so looking just at our munis expenses and revenues, that's where we sit currently. Now, when the auditors come in, they will have the treasurer's office make changes, and last year, it was over $1 million in changes, so that number could swing one way or another, but we should be in that ball.
Okay. So, they gave this presentation. I wouldn't say there was a lot of discussion about it, but I think that and for our committee, I think our main goal is making sure, as this budget, last year we had the budget process. They talked about the current service level through the budget process. I don't know that we made a lot of headway defining the current service level, but it didn't connect to the actual what they were inputting and what they were seeing in the strategic plan. So that's why it's really important that the strategic plan matches with the budget process. So when they're talking about current service level and they define it with the county administrator staff, and it has this quantifiable monetary value of what $100,000 purchases in terms of services, somehow that needs to be reflected in the strategic plan. Not the actual monetary amount, but that current service level needs to tie into their priorities that are defined.
Right.
And then their quarterly updates. Like, we need to get this all aligned. So that's that's why obviously it's important that we get county administrator's office gets that finalized. So that was one thing I just continues to be on our radar that we need to keep track of. And then I think the other thing I just wanted to talk about briefly is we have the department head evaluation process is finally going to be implemented this year, which is more on the performance review and goal setting committee side of things. But Steve's met with the department heads. That committee, we've put our package of evaluation forms together. there's a new form that's tied to the strategic plan that the county administrator basically uses and is integrating into the evaluation with the department heads. And so it's more of a department evaluation rather than maybe individual, but it's basically looking at, are they doing the quarterly updates? What kind of progress are they making? This idea of the work they're doing in Clear Plan, we need to somehow, why should they do it if no one's paying attention to it and if we're not making it a part of the evaluation process? So, for IGA, I asked, we have two department heads that are IGA will be reviewing, Tammy Harris and, oh my gosh.
You have veterans.
Veterans, yes,
And
yeah.
Board of Elections, but just.
No, I don't know if we're gonna.
I wasn't sure if they.
Yeah.
have a review.
I'm not, that piece of it,
Well, actually, I think.
we used to do Board of Elections, but I'm not sure if we're going to or not.
Okay.
But so IGA doesn't have many department heads to evaluate, in general, but so, I've basically, I think we need, and this is on the performance room goal side, we need to remind all the department heads at the county board meeting next week that they should be getting in touch with their department heads. We need to be asking our department heads to complete their self-evaluations. So, whatever committees you're on, if you are just trying to prompt your committees, we need our department heads to complete their self-evaluations. And then there's a group committee evaluation. I know, Rick, you've been through this, so, but, we haven't done it for at least 2 years now because we kind of moving to this new process of the county administrator really doing the evaluations with our chair of our home committees. So it's a smaller group now. It was more a committee driven process. So now we still need our department heads to do their self-evaluation. Our home committees still need to do the evaluations of the department heads. And then Steve does this strategic plan evaluation. So he actually just sent me a couple for the IGA committee for the department heads. The IGA committee will evaluate because we have to be looking ahead because Steve has scheduled out these department head evaluations and the two IGA ones are in May. So for those to kind of move forward, the department head evaluations at the IGA level have to happen in April. It could possibly happen in May. There'd be enough time, but so we just need to be working ahead. And so I think, obviously Steve's not here, but at some point it'd be interesting for us to talk about how he's doing those evaluations with our committee, because this was his first time doing it.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, is it, if he would talk us through and he wouldn't have to give us names, but, if he could talk us through kind of how did it, I know he got kind of rushed into it, which, I didn't mean to do that to him, but, I think it would be good to get his feedback when he's, maybe at one of our next, meetings. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
so, I think, so we're gonna see all this play out soon. So,
Suffice it to say.
yeah, I don't know if I don't have the schedule in front of me for department head evaluations, but I don't know how his surgery, if that impacts the schedule or not.
So I don't think
there was any coming up soon.
No, I think it was planned around his surgery so that it should not interfere with any of the evaluations, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So anyway, I think that's all I had in my notes. I don't know if either of you had anything else that, you talked about the board meeting or anything else that you think we need to follow up on. Yeah. I think so for the board meeting. I think we need to. We're gonna pull up Clear Plan. Remind our board members, about accessing their accounts. I think we also, we want to, I think we want to remind department heads about the quarterly updates for 2026. And I don't know that in our committees to remind the department heads as well. But people are already starting those.
There are definitely departments that are working
Yes.
on them. And when I send out the email today, reminding them about fourth quarter updates for 2025, I will also mention and provide brief instructions on accessing 2026 and the fact that they
Okay.
can make changes and updates to that as well.
Okay, great. All right, and then we're not gonna talk about current service level. We'll avoid that.
Yeah, that will actually probably be a good one to talk about perhaps at next month's meeting after the budget analysts have had time to kind of meet with all the departments, give you guys a little bit of an update and an assessment of where they think we stand at that point in time. And then Steve will also be more back in the loop by then as well.
Okay. No, that sounds good. I'll make a note about that. So April TSP. We'll revisit current service level. I think, for our committee, we're making an investment in Clear Plan, so we really need to stress, that department heads doing the updates is great, but if we're not looking at Clear Plan, that's a disconnect. And so I think we just need to figure out how can we, other than telling our board members to log in, which clearly we're not doing, I'm right in that camp, like I'm not logging in on a regular basis. We need to bring it into the committees more.
Yes, and this is really what gets to the meat of what the departments are doing. So at the very least, when they're doing their updates quarterly to their committees, this is their focus on the services that they're providing to the community,
Right.
what we're getting for the tax dollars that are getting spent, and bringing that more to the forefront to the committees, I think will help the department heads show what progress they're making, what they're doing as a department, and provide that info to the board also, which will, help you all be better informed, hopefully.
Okay. So, yeah, getting the current service level figured out is obviously very important. Okay, well, I think we kind of know what our game plan is for the board meeting. Some kind of, just clear plan, reminder, and then next meeting, which I don't know that April date, whatever the last ish date in April is. I have April, it's not April 28th, yeah, April 28th. Okay. So April 28th, TSP, one of our main topics will be the current service level. Hopefully we can, find out what direction we're going, or hopefully by then we actually are moving forward with implementation of this one. So. Great. I think we're all set, Isaiah. Or actually, this is one big motion to.
No, second.
Okay.
Since we have a few minutes, will you go through it once on your computer?
Yeah, well, let's not
Let's do it now in the meeting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep, I'll
Yeah.
pull it up. Yep. So Isaiah, we'll go ahead and end the meeting, but can you let me into the Zoom in a second? Yeah, just so I can share my screen. Yeah, all in favor of ending the meeting?
I.
Aye. All right.